Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's Ask Rad and Friends. And I'm probably kind of glowing a little bit. I'm having a fanboy geek moment because many years ago, my life got changed because of a book called Angel Speak. And because the universe is kind and sweet and joyful, uh, things just sort of happened for me to have the opportunity to actually get to talk to one of the co-authors of this book, Trudy Griswold, and I have her with me today. And like I said, I'm like a fanboy geek. I'm going to blather. So, well, I am so humbled and so thrilled to have you, Trudy. Welcome to Ask Rad and Friends.
Thank you so much. And I'm just as humbled and glad to be with you. Thanks.
So, the first thing I think we should say is that your dear sister was the other co-author, and her name is Barbara Mark,
Right.
and she is with us in spirit. So, even though this looks like a split screen, it's actually technically a three-way screen.
That's true.
So, how did this amazing, precious, beautiful book get written? How did that happen?
Oh, it's the best thing that happened to me in my life, I swear, besides my husband and kids and all. I was on a spiritual journey and seeking and looking at who am I, what's happening in my life. And Barbara, who lived in San Diego at the time, was on the same path. And so she and I were on the telephone constantly talking about a workshop we went to, a book we read. And it was through that like minded thinking, talking, sharing that our lives began to move in the direction of we wanted more and more spiritual wisdom, knowledge, support. And so we just stayed in touch constantly and we kept doing our own thing, but then we'd put our energies together. And all of a sudden, we started realizing that between the two of us, we were building a wonderful new side of our relationship. And that relationship with my sister started growing into who am I? Each of us asking that question: who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? What's the next step on my path? And when we have a spiritual awakening, it's never one event, as we know, it's lots of events and people and circumstances. So as we walked our paths together, really, it's ended up that, we realized that there was a whole process that we were in that was leading us
Hmm.
along our path, leading us to the right people, circumstances, which ultimately led us to our angels. And I have to tell you, we are so blessed to have so many angels. Every single person on this planet has none of us really know how many we have, how they come and go as we need them, as circumstances come into our lives. So Barbara and I had gone to a workshop where a woman kept saying, you can talk with this group of angels and everything. And we thought, right. My first thought was, well, it's such a California thing to do. I don't think they do it in Connecticut. And Barbara thought that was hysterical, of course. But the fact is, that time of really the two of us practicing, and Barbara got the first writing, and a few weeks later, I got the next writing from the angels. And so, because I kept saying to Barb, why don't you ask them for me? Finally, the angels are so loving and so wise. They said, tell Trudy that she can also write with us. As a matter of fact, children, everyone can learn to receive a written message from their angelic team. And, we go through these periods of the doubt and the wondering, and can I really do this? But
Mhm.
it worked beautifully, and it was easier than I ever dreamed possible. And all the listeners here today, I just want you to know that you too can get that written message from your angelic team or individual, and it's wonderful. Yes. So Barb and I
It
decided,
can.
I like your book. We just decided that when they asked us to write a book, we said, well, we don't know how to write a book exactly. We don't even know how to teach this, because the angels kept asking us also, would you teach other people how to get a written message? And that was scary also, but we did it. Barbara did in California. I did a group in Connecticut, and life changed, honestly, forever. And it got better, and it got more exciting and more spiritual, and I gained more confidence. And it was the beginning of the best period of my life. And I have to tell you, I feel so blessed to be able to sit here with you and explain to everybody that they too, no matter where you are on your spiritual path, you can take the right next steps with the guidance of your angelic group.
Yes, you,
Yeah,
yes, you can.
you sure can.
So, what do you think for someone who's just starting out, for someone who,
Mhm.
besides that, here's your guy, here's your text, here's your field text right here.
Yes,
But,
yes.
but it's like, what's the first thing you think people should do to get in connection with their angels?
Yeah, great question. First thing is, you have to really get to be friends with your angelic team, is what I call it. And, I don't idolize angels. God is our God, whoever that may be to each individual. However, they are God's messengers. They are with us constantly. We can tap their knowledge and wisdom. And so, absolutely step up and say a prayer and say, dearest God and angels, please be with me while I write with you. And the angels said right away, um, just know that we are there. Just know that we will communicate with you. We will give you a message in writing, and find a time that works for you. Sit down, say your prayer, and then ask questions and expect answers. So, actually, our angels woke us up in the middle of the night, and it was about 3 in the morning. That seems to be their magical time
Ew.
somehow. Yeah.
Get a new alarm clock.
Yeah, I know.
Angel.
Every now and then I've said, dear angels, could you please maybe write to me a little closer to sunrise or something? And they say, oh, of course, child, but they still kind of sneak into that 3 o'clock. But what I did was I put a pad and paper next to my desk in my on my nightstand, and if I woke up, I would grab that with a pen and paper and just write, dearest angels, what would you like to teach me? And whatever thoughts were going through my mind, I would just jot them down. And sometimes it was hard to read them the next morning, I have to admit, but because I was just half asleep. But that was the beginning. That's how I got going. And everybody says, well, is this me writing that message or is it them? And you have to build a trust with your angelic team also. And just say, it seems like I wrote it, but I don't know that I would have maybe said it that way, or I don't know if it would have, if it had been just up to me, uh, if I would have, said exactly how it's here. So as time went on, I got more and more trusting of my ability and of their passion, their desire to connect with me even more. They said than I wanted to connect with them, and I said, "Whoa, that's a lot." Because I really, really wanted to get with them and find out more and move on my path and grow. So that's how we really built our relationship and partnership also. Yeah.
Um, so I'm just looking to see some of the questions that people are posting. There's just a lot of gratitude. People are really enjoying this and so happy to be here and so sorry for your 3 a.m. And that time they wake her up too. Jessica saying this is the first book I ever read about angels. Another girl saying, I read your book when I was 19 years old and it changed my life.
Wow.
And so Debbie is saying, I've been talking and calling my angels through meditation for such a long time, a year and a half, and I feel as though I have not gotten any communication or messages. So what do you say to Debbie, Trudy?
All right. When people say talk with them, listen to them and everything, I think we all expect that there's going to be like a whisper in our ear or a noise of some kind. Well, I discovered after a short period of time that they don't really, for me anyway, I am not clairaudient. I am clairsentient. So when I get my messages, it's just like I get that sense of knowing. I'll write my questions down and then I'll take a deep breath, and whatever thoughts start running through my mind, I just trust it, write it down, and I ask them questions back. So it really is a give and a take. So don't wait to hear a voice or a verbal message.
I think one of the basic tenets in Angel Speak 2 that might be helpful to her is the very fact that we're writing it down. And you
Yes.
and I have talked about the fact that typing it isn't quite the same thing. It's getting a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen and literally writing out our questions and waiting for the answers.
Boy, are you right. I'm Barbara and I were also certified handwriting analysts. And
Oh, really?
yeah, and we studied with a woman in your area, your neck of the woods. And she was wonderful. It says through handwriting analysis that there is a connection between our brain and our hand. And so, and I thought, wow, does that really speak to speaking with your angels? So I really suggest people get that paper and pen or whatever and write down your question, write down their answer, and write the date that you got that answer, and write down the actual question. Because I was telling you earlier that I've discovered that in many years ago in the 90s, around the time the book came out, Barbara and I discovered that no matter how far back the writing was with the angels that we were receiving, by the time, no matter what time you sit down and read the journal or read your book, it will be very pertinent and relevant to what happens today. So I always say, write down that question, because you'll want to be able to go back and read all these beautiful, healing, loving messages over and over. So be sure to do that.
So someone had a question that I wanted to get in. Let's see. Well, I can't. Oh, here it is. It's Brandy. Brandy is saying, is there anything you do before getting ready to write in order to receive the messages?
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for that question. Whenever I speak with my angelic team or pray or meditate, or in the morning when I wake up and when I go to bed at night, I always pray to my spiritual support team, as I call them. And it's that stronger partnership. It's also kind of gearing up to give and receive with them. So pray, 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 ask. The angels gave us a formula as to how to work with them the most easily. And first of all, we do have to learn to ask them to be with us. And that's praying. That's saying, please be with us or me, and give me a message that will be clear that I can, utilize at my job. Or the more specific you are in your questions, the more specific they can be in their answers. Number two is very specific.
Susan
Number two,
heard that, right? Did you hear
yeah,
that, Susan?
everybody. Yeah, especially, that I don't know, somehow the women seem to have a rougher time asking. It was kind of thought, well, that's kind of greedy, or it's kind of, pushy. No, not at all. The universe needs to know very clearly what it is that you're seeking to bring into your life. Once you've asked, then you have to believe and trust that when the time is right, you will receive what you're asking for if it's in your highest and greatest good. Number two. Number three is allow that information to flow to you in the right time and in the right way. So it's ask, believe, let go, or allow. And then finally, the only thing our spiritual team asks of us is to give thanks and say thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for bringing to me what I've been asking for. So ask, believe, let go, say thank you. That's the magic formula.
And I think my students are hearing how much of an influence you have been on me, because they're hearing you say things that I tell them all the time.
Well, that's great, because, once you find truths, spiritual truths that work for you, that feel good, that your inner knowing is saying, yeah, that's right, then you just stick with it because it's the way to go. Yeah.
So, before we get to the announcements that you have, is there anything else that your angels told you at 3 a.m. that you want to share?
Yes, I heard something so fun yesterday that I do want to share with everybody. It was on television, and someone said, if you have a pulse on your body, then you have a purpose this lifetime. And I thought, isn't that great? So often in the beginning, gosh, do I really have a strong purpose, or am I here to do something, make a difference? The answer is yes, yes, and yes. And so one of the areas the angels helped us with, and they want me to share this, is that whatever your passion is, whatever you love to do, whatever feels so right, believe that that will set you on your path this lifetime. And so your passion will take you to your path, which ultimately will take you to your purpose. And it's as simple as ask, believe, let go, say thank you, and just trusting that it's all coming together and that you are an integral part of God's plan. That they say that our souls, before we came here to this planet, that we lined up and asked if we could please be here at this time. which I find amazing. It's a it's a rough time, yes. And it's a challenging time right now with so many things changing very quickly and all. But you know what? That bigger plan is at work, and just believe that you're part of that.
So if people want to, they can actually come learn how to do this directly from you because you have a class coming up.
I do. I have a class coming up January 2nd, simply because I wanted to start it then, because suddenly all the holidays are over and we're all going, now what? It's the beginning of the year, number one. It's a time to get yourself set up for where am I going? What am I doing? How am I approaching my spiritual life differently? And I'm doing a workshop that's called the Angels Speak Book Study Group. And what we'll do is we will go through the book. It's a virtual class, by the way.
Oh,
And
excellent.
yes. And yeah. So, and starting on the 2nd, and we'll go through this particular class, and it will really, everybody shares what their goals are, what they want to do. And I will teach everyone in this class how to get that beautiful message from their angels, or I will validate for you. So that you're at the right place at the right time. I'll answer questions. It'll be a great class. It'll go the 2nd of January to February 27.
Okay.
So,
and Susan is asking, Trudy, I cannot find your book in Booktopia or Hay House. Where do we buy it? This is not a Hay House book. This is a Simon Schuster book, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes. Right. Yes. The best thing to do is to go to my website, which is angelspeak.com. And I have to tell you, make sure Angel Speak is one word and that there's an E at the end. Yes, right there. The angels put that E on the end of Angel Speak. And Barbara said, oh, you mean like Shakespeare? And they said, yeah, that's what
I like that.
yeah. So go to angelspeak.com, look around in my website, dig around a little bit because I've got a lot of wisdom. I have messages from the other side, people, spirit speak, I call it. Workshops that I'm doing. There's a segment called Work with Me, and you'll find all my workshops and things, and you'll be able to order your Angel Speak books. Yes.
And you have a Facebook page, yes?
I do have a Facebook page. Trudy, let's see, Angels Speak with Trudy Griswold. Yes. I think it is. Or Trudy Griswold with I don't know. Something like that.
We'll post a link to it in this video.
All right. One other neat thing. I've got a lot of holiday specials on my website of readings and discounts, that kind of thing. And I've also, there's, oh gosh, what was I going to say? We've got the book study, holiday specials, workshops. Oh, if you would like a message from your angels, every Monday morning, I write a message from the angels. So, and you sign up, you'll get every Monday a message from your angelic team.
Well, that's what I'm going to do as soon as we get off of here.
Good.
Well, Trudy, I am, again, totally humbled, totally delighted, beyond words to have gotten to have this time with you. And so, elated to get to share you with my students who are just happiest, joyful people. Maybe sometime we can have you come into our private little group and have a chat. And I would love to have you on my Hay House radio show as well. So
I would love it.
So
great.
We'll schedule all of that as follow-ups. But thank you again for being on Ask Rad and Friends.
Oh, thank you. And thank everyone for listening. This has been great.
Okay, folks, that's this week's episode of Ask Rad and Friends. Okay, think, Radley. Oh, next week we have Hay House author Susan Dentino. She's the sort of the Irma Bombeck of Hay House. and we're going to have her on Ask Grad. In the meantime, you guys continue to enjoy this beautiful season of light. This video will be posted on all of my Facebook pages where you can find it, and it will be on YouTube just as soon as I download it and get it uploaded to YouTube. So have a magical week. See ya.
Thank you.